Hey, everybody. How about this? We are up and running. Got Roger Mooking in the house, man. I reached out on Twitter. Huge fan of yours. Thank you so much for taking the time, man. How's everything going, Roger?
I'm okay, man. It's out here, just quarantining away.
It's crazy. This quarantine for me, it's like you and I have become best friends because I've been watching so much cooking channel, and you're on so much, which is great. By the way, look at that. That's branding right there. I love it. Season 9 of Man Fire Food just released. Man, I'm so happy. We've been watching you as a family for such a long time, man. Season 9. How about that, Roger?
Season 9, man. I mean, in today's landscape, you get 3 seasons and you're blazing hot, so I feel blessed about that.
How many people reach out to you just saying that I've been watching you so much during the shelter in place slash quarantine?
Yo, like so crazy. Yeah, I knew people were watching the show because, like I said, we're at season 9, right? So clearly people are watching the show, but I didn't realize, and I've had more time to engage with people and like respond, talk, chat, chit chat back, and all that kind of stuff. So it's just been really amazing to see. I didn't expect that people would be using television or watching Man Fire Food as a way to kind of get away from all of the stress and mental stress that's happening around this whole thing, and just kind of the peace and the calm of cooking around a fire, learning new cooking techniques, and just having fun watching a show that they like has brought so much joy to people. So I'm glad to be part of that.
And we're going to dig deeper into that, but I like starting every interview. And actually, this is a fun way to start because I ask the same 5 questions to every guest that joins the Raheel Show podcast. So I'm going to ask you the same five, all right? And then we'll dig a little bit deeper into this because there's so much to unpack with the shelter in place, with the amount of fun and love that food has added in all of this. So we'll get to that, but let's start with the first question of the same 5 questions. Number one, Roger, what is one song you wish everybody would listen to at least once in their life?
Um, Jay-Z's got a song called Minority Report. It's
Yep.
produced by Dr. Dre. It's so cinematic. It's just a majestic piece of art. And it talks about Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans and the lack of response there. But just the song is just so incredibly visual. It's one of my favorite songs.
All right. What is one thing you always have to have in your fridge?
Eggs. I love eggs, bro, and they're so versatile. You can do so much with them. You can bake with them, cook with them. I love eggs, bro.
Now, are you an egg snob? Do you have to go brown, organic, double? You gotta go triple A rating.
I found a particular brand of eggs where I live that are the yolks are they're almost orange, right? Just beautiful, beautiful. They're a free run egg, and they're brown, large.
My wife, one time I came home with just a single A egg, and that was it. I had to go back, man. I had to go back. My wife is she's in a different tax bracket now. I guess she's in a double A. You gotta get that rating has to be just right. She doesn't. That's how it is, man.
They
Okay,
get
number
used to it, buddy. Get used to it.
yeah. What is one place you want to visit that you haven't yet?
One place I like to visit, Africa, look as a continent, West Africa. I have yet to go to Africa. I've been almost every other continent, I believe, at this point. I've yet to touch Africa. It's a shame.
Man, that'd be an amazing trip. 'Cause that's the cradle of civilization right there, man. Just
Said
to
it, my brother.
explore all that, man, it would be incredible. Number
Incredible.
four, who is one person that's alive you want to meet and have coffee with?
Mike Tyson.
Woo,
I
man.
love, I love Mike Tyson, bro. He just had such a journey in his life.
Yeah, and the fact that he's rebuilt, he's not going to let his past define him. It's and some people might not feel the same way, but I think it's beautiful that you know what I can evolve, I can change, and I can learn from my mistakes. And a lot of people at that level and at that popularity, it's tough to do because of all the criticism they receive. But he that's a great pick. Okay, number five. I think we lost. There's Roger. Can you still hear me? Roger, can you still hear me? I think you're back now. Can you hear me, Roger?
A little bit of a technical glitch.
Yeah. How about now? Can you hear me now? Test, test. Roger, you there? Okay, looks like we lost Roger for a second. Let me see if I can take him out, put him back in. Check it out. Let's see if Roger is there. Okay, so it looks like we lost Roger there, so I'm gonna try to reconnect Roger Mooking there. Yeah, Kevin Carr, he's dropping the famous line, "Time to light the fire" with Roger. Man, I can't wait to chat with him about the show itself as well. We're doing the same 5 questions. Roger, looks like you're back.
Yes, I'm back now.
Okay. Hey man, it's gonna happen. Everyone's at home. We got Wi-Fi issues. That's what happens, man.
Okay.
Hey, okay. So number 5. What one app do you want to delete off your phone, but you can't?
Yo, I got this app called Paper Camera a long time ago. Basically, it takes like you can take pictures and then it'll turn it into like animated images, and there's different filters of animation and stuff like that. And you could write speech bubbles and all this kind of stuff. So I had this on there. I used to mess around with that for a while, and then it just I guess they stopped updating it, so it doesn't work anymore. And I can't delete the damn thing, bro. I got a couple like that.
You
There's
just
nothing to do to
yeah.
delete it.
They've been grandfathered in. Those apps that just don't update. The companies are bankrupt now, but you don't want to delete it because you might be the last one, Roger, to have that app, and you're the
No,
one
yo,
that's
I'm trying to delete it and it's not delete. Doesn't delete. I'm trying. I down connected my phone to the joint physically, trying to pull it. Nothing.
Oh my
I
gosh,
actually gave
man.
up. It just sits there.
Man, that is amazing. So that's the same 5 questions we ask every guest. Roger Mooking, if you guys haven't seen him, man, he is a treat to watch on TV, and it's so hard. Being in the radio and TV profession myself, it's so hard to sometimes get your personality across, right? Because I don't think people understand how hard that is to capture you, because sometimes the camera turns on and you turn to a different person. But I feel like you have captured yourself when you're doing the show. Did that take you a long time to get?
Um, when I first started doing my first show, Everyday Exotic, um, the very first episode we tried to shoot, the environment is very unnatural, right? There's all these people, the lights, it's like just weird. You know what I mean? So I had to deliver, like, say these lines to set up this cooking demo, and it just was not working, wasn't working. So they brought in this like talent coach type thing, right? So they put me in front of the talent coach, and they're trying to get me to say and do certain stuff that I refuse to do and all this kind of stuff. So after about a week with the talent coach, he gave up, and he's like, well, he's not going to do whatever you guys want to say, so get over that. Figure that out. And then he kind of just led me down a road of like, screw everybody, dude. Just just screw it. Do what you want to do. You're the only person who's got to live with what happens on camera every day at the end of the day, because you're the only person on camera. Just do what feels right and have fun and just be yourself. And I just made a conscious decision to just ignore everybody and just do whatever I wanted. Basically.
Bro, that's the
And
way to do it, man.
I still do that.
And what was the reaction from all the people? I mean, there's got to be executives, there's got to be producers and all of that, and they have a vision for it, and then you have your vision for it, what you imagine this show is going to be like. Was there any back and forth? Because at that level, it becomes so different because there's so many people involved.
Yeah, that's true. But on that show, I was a co-producer. Consulting producer. I was a co-founder. I wrote all the recipes. I was the host. I did all the music. So I actually had a voice at the boardroom table, at the decision-making table, right? So when they couldn't do anything unless I was on board with it, right? So that's the importance of kind of having a voice at the table.
Absolutely. Season 9 now of Man Fire Food. Man, it's been so much fun to watch the progression of the show. Your love for just the basic, hey, let's just make a fire. Let's make some food. And let's meet people from all around the world and all around the nation, excuse me, here. How has that been for you as a journey, meeting so many different people? Because a lot of us don't get a chance to do that. You've met people from all over, and it's been fun to see their point of view. And the one thing that connects us all is just something so primitive: fire and food.
Yeah, yeah, it's been really cool. It's been a learning. Man, that is a big thing. What are you drinking? You working out?
My wife got me this when the shelter in place started. It's a gallon of water. She's making me drink this. I'm trying to, I work out a lot now because there's nothing else to do at home. So
Yeah.
trying to
You
fight
just
that
work out
soreness.
and go to the bathroom. Work out and go
Bro,
to the bathroom.
that's exactly. I get most of my steps walking to the bathroom.
Walking to the
Roger.
bathroom. You need a smaller house, bro. Life is too big.
Yeah.
So what has that been like? So first it shows me a couple things. One, I sometimes find myself in places with people who I never thought that I would meet, right? Or who I would never get along with or vibe with. And there I am. Food brought us there. Fire brought us there. And there we are. And before you know it, we're best buddies, right? And they look like just you would not put us two together. Put it that way, right? But I met so many nice people like that, bro. Just they brought us together. On the inverse of that, like you say, I'm traveling all over America. And as you can imagine, as a Black person in America, traveling through various parts of the country, you just got to watch your Instagram feed for what happens out there to Black people, bro.
Nah, man,
So,
it's so crazy what's going on, man. Like I just can't believe it, man. And we're talking about George Floyd. For those of you that don't know, and I've said this all along when Colin Kaepernick started taking a knee, and I used to work in sports radio, Roger. So me being a Pakistani male, being 33 at the time, when sports radio, the demographics are usually white males, 35 to 54. My point of view was, let him take a knee. There's obviously something wrong. I'm not a black man in America. You're not a black man in America, and I'm talking about the listener, not you, Roger.
I am not a black man in America. I live in Canada.
You're a lucky man.
Always, I would live in Canada.
And it's like I don't know the struggles, right? And I can learn from my friends who do go through the struggles, who have this fear, and then you take a step back and you go, okay, there's a reason he's doing this, and by him taking a knee, it's not impacting your life or your ability to stand up and how you view the flag. It's like religion to me. You practice one thing, I practice one thing. That's what I believe in. He's not offending the military. There's obviously something going on. And then you fast forward now, and again, it happens. I mean, it's so frustrating, man. My heart breaks because when you really think about it, you go, that's something right there that could have been prevented. There were so many different points of that video. You go, if they had just stepped in or he had just stepped in, it's heartbreaking, man. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's crazy. You see this one with the woman in Central Park with the dog, and she's like, which is just very low key little things she does in that video, but they're not so low key. She knows what she's doing, right? She's so. Here we are, right? This is the world we live in. It's nothing new, bro. So you go back, they've been lynching black people for a long time. This is just modern day versions of that. Now, put yourself in my position for a second, right? Let's say there's some kind of dispute that happens with someone with me at the grocery store, for instance. I don't know, some stupid situation, right? Something goes down, there's a fight, who knows, whatever. What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to call the police? Do I call the police if I feel threatened? Your instinct is like, oh, you gotta call the police, right? Am I gonna call the police? Because the police might show up and they might kill me. So you're hesitant to do that. So what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do, really, right? This is where we are in the world, bro. This is the world we've created. Yeah. So, I make it a mission to. My whole goal, at the end of the day is I do these food shows and the food travels around food and but really I do it because the food is a vessel to bring people together, right? And in this instance here, we're using fire and food very specifically to bring people together. So you may see me with somebody who you think I would get along with on site. You may see me with somebody who looks at me who you don't think that I would get along with on site, but we have a common bond over food and fire and our passion for that. And if that's our jumping off point, then that's a good jumping off point. If we need to find more commonalities between one another in our society and start building from there, right? I can't tell you how many people I've turned out on set or just on Instagram or on Twitter. Just they're coming at me one way, and I just spin them, bro. I just spin them like a top.
Yeah.
And by the end of that day or the end of that session or the end of that thing, they're like my biggest fan, and now they go after people on Twitter for me. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's taking the time to give everybody the benefit of a doubt, but also don't be stupid. If you smell a rat, it's probably going to be a rat.
Yeah, and that's like you have to practice that where anybody you meet, you go in with a positive attitude. I always try to highlight the positives in life. So, let's highlight the good interactions that we have. Let's put more of those in the world. But at times it does get hard when you see the negative, and rightfully so. We need to point those out. We need to correct those. But I'm like you, where let's put more positive out. Let's highlight those so there isn't that weird feeling when you meet somebody new. You're like, man, this is going to go bad. Well, let's give each other a chance. We have to get that bridge back up and trust that love and humanity in all of us, that this isn't going to go that way. But sometimes it gets hard, man. It gets hard. Like there's some idiots out there, bro.
There is, man, but like I said, this is the beauty of it. And this is why I do these shows. For instance, how many briskets can a man eat? How much pork ribs can a man eat? Right? It kind of becomes like, okay, same, but it's not about that. That's the gateway. I call it the gateway drug, right?
Yeah.
So that's the gateway drug. We using that as a conduit, as a vessel to communicate and showcase people communicating and to showcase the commonality between ourselves. That's why I do it, bro. I could have quit this show long time.
Yeah.
There's only so many briskets that are great, bro.
Yo.
Like honestly, right? But that's why I do it. That's why I do it, bro.
What percentage? Okay, now be honest. What percentage of the actual food does taste good, or do you got to put on an act sometimes and go, man, it's kind of dry right now?
No. Most of the time it's good, bro. Like by the time we get to, you have to understand. By the time we have a small team that researches every location, they bring that up to the executive producers. That goes to the network, and then it comes to me, and I do the final approval of the locations, right? So by the time we get through every layer of vetting, it's because those people are going to be cool. The food is going to be good. Everything should be on point. They go through extensive kind of like training, basically with our team to make sure they understand what they're getting into and what's required of them to be on the show. And so we go through all that very diligently. So by the time somebody's on board, it's on point. It's very few instances where it's like, that's mediocre at best. Like,
how long does one episode take? Everything you laid out.
One episode takes a week.
Really?
We fly in one day, we film for 2 days. We go to the next location, which is a travel. We shoot for 2 more days, and we fly out to the next thing. So one episode is a week.
Wow. How long does it take you to film a season?
About 4 months.
4 months. And you're away almost every day, it seems like.
Travel a lot, bro. Yeah. And it's that's one job. I got a bunch of jobs. So
Man.
I got a lot. Not anymore.
No, not anymore. Nobody's going anywhere. Food's coming to you now.
Yeah,
this is not, man. So it takes that long. Does it get exhausting for you? And I mean, you have 4 kids, right? You have 4 daughters. That's gotta weigh a little bit on you.
Yeah, I got 4 daughters. I got a wife. I got a dog. Man, it's very stressful. I'm away doing that, but also I pay bills, right? So that's where we're at with it. And I do something that I love to do. I like to meet people. I get to travel around, so that's cool. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard, man. But that's what that's all my kids know is me traveling around for work, and me and my wife have a kind of understanding about how that is, and we both pull our share. And it works, you know. No situation is ideal in life and everything, so we find what that balance is and make it work, right?
That's beautiful, man. And your story's so awesome that you started off as a musician and you're still making music, right? Is that right?
Yeah, I just put out a record last year.
Man, that's awesome. So you started off and then what made you quit music or at least leave music to become a chef?
Well, I was trying to do deals back in that time, you know, when the record company still had a lockdown on the game, like locked. You need to get radio, it was locked. You need to get MTV, or you know, it was locked down. You had to go through the machine, right? And I was trying to do deals back then. They weren't even trying to do. So I was like, screw this. The industry of music is horrible, and you know, we'd get up to like meeting with the chairman of, you know, Polygram or whatever, go to a meeting in New York and blah 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 blah, and you know, Elton John's managers in his office, and you know, we there talking, and these some of these, they don't care about music, bro. It's, a lot of these people, they don't you talk to them about music, they don't even care about music, you know what I mean? So when I had that realization, I was like, wow, this is crazy. This dude doesn't even listen to music anymore. Right?
They just care about the money at that point, huh?
Yeah, I guess. And, you know, fine. To a certain degree, I can understand that. But, you know, artists are out there living and bleeding, dying for this stuff, right? So when I realized that, I was like, okay, this ain't cool, man. They just pimping people out here. So I went back, specifically went to cooking school to do cooking. And really, I wanted to just have a little simple, little anonymous life, bro. I've already been known for doing stuff with music for a long time at that point, and won a lot of awards and stuff. And I just like, look, I just want a simple life, go home, you know, meet my girl up and cook some food and go to the restaurant and work, come home, just chill, like, you know. And then this Food Network stuff came knocking around. I was like, oh, let me mess with this. I started opening restaurants, and everything started kind of form together at the same time and continue to make music. But really, it was just the realization of the deals I was trying to do in music at the time. People are doing them now, but back then they had a lock. They didn't need to do those type of deals. And
What specifically? What specifically with the deals like?
I was just trying to do deals where I could own stuff, right? Yeah. Own masters, license in, or control the ship, and use the record companies as a distribution and marketing tool, which became more common in recent years to do those types of things. But back then, it's like they weren't having it. They weren't having that.
So how cutthroat was, you know, you kind of laid out the meetings and how people lose their love for music, but how cutthroat was the 90s era rap and hip hop and funk and soul? How hard was it just breaking through in that and then dealing with the nonsense that came with the music industry?
Well, you know, man, I always loved music, and I got into it because music is a passion. But the industry of music is just a violent industry, bro. They chew people up, spit them out. They have no regard. Few have regard for the crafts and the art. And you know, this just is really dirty, man. It's just really dirty and cutthroat. And I'm just not dirty and cutthroat like that, man. I'm a lover, bro. I like to love and make music, you know. So.
Man. You know, like what were some of your influences when you guys were coming up? Now listening, and I went back and listened to some of your stuff, and there's like there's obviously neo soul. There's just that smooth jazz influence. What were some of your influences? Did I hit on any of them?
Well, I used to it came up as like a hip hop group, right? And we were always looking for samples. So I'd always go to the record stores and looking for breaks on records, right? Mm-hmm. So I'd pick up all those records, you know, Steely Dan Asia, pick up Michael McDonald joints, I'd pick up Diana Ross records, The Meters, Otis Redding records, Janis Joplin, Moms Mabley, Led Zeppelin, Michael Jackson, everything, like of course, the Public Enemy and the Brand Nubians and Tribe Called Quest and all these, just looking for records to sample, you find all these records, Edie Brickell and New Bohemians, like, and you start to meet some of the producers who are producing some of those records, and they're just in the same boat as you, hunting for breaks, and you start to learn and discover new music. So I came up around all kinds of music, man, just because I was on the hunt.
It's so much fun going down those rabbit holes, man. Now it's so much easier to find out information, right? You go back and listen to a Tribe album and you go, man, where did they sample this from? And it's readily available. Like you can go to who sampled and you can find all that. But but then it's so much fun. I mean, there's a blessing and it's a blessing because you can find it, and then but it kind of sucks, like, because when I was younger, I would get a CD. I'm like, man, where's this from? And you kind of go on this hunt and try to find out, man, where's this from? And then that opens up another door, and all of a sudden you're listening to music you've never listened to before, and it's, we kind of lose that because of the answers are right there for us, and it kind of limits people's musical journey. We just stay in our same lane, and we never get a chance to explore different things because the answers are there.
It's like the Spaniards came looking for gold, but they found a whole civilization of Mayans, right? It's like, whoa, there's a whole civilization. Oh, there's new girls here. Like a whole other thing. It's part of the discovery, right?
What was it like when you're putting out albums and you're putting out records and, that creative spark that you get? Do you miss that in terms of what it was back then? Because you were on that journey, you were hungry, and I'm not saying you're not hungry now, but it's different when you're first coming up, that creative force. What was that like for you?
Well, it's interesting because you're naive, right? So you don't know what you don't know yet. So now you may go at a situation, go, no, I'll avoid that, I'll avoid that, I'll avoid that, and I'll go this way, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas back then you didn't know what to avoid. So you just go every which way, and then you stumble into all different kinds of stuff, right? So really it's just the blind stupidity of it all. And the passion, it just drives the whole thing. And I think that there's something really magical about that. I try and maintain that kind of blind stupidity and passion about situations and circumstances as much as possible,
Yeah,
because there's a real magic in that, man.
I was reading a book by Austin Kleon, who he has a 3-part series on just the creative. And one of the big things about younger artists, whether you're a writer, a musician, a radio host, whatever it is, it's that ability to create without being judged, right? Because when you don't have a big following, you don't have people that you have to appease, you don't have executives and this and that feeling of just creating, try it, who cares? What's the worst thing that's going to happen? You're going to make something bad? Who cares? That is it's such a powerful thing to hold. As people get more popular, as people become more famous, they tend to lose that. And look, Kanye, he's one of my favorite artists, and he's shifted a whole different way. But to be at his level, to keep trying different things, whether people like it or not, that's crazy, man. How artists can do that.
Yeah, it's like Madonna back in the day, right? Every time Madonna put out an album, she destroyed her previous image. Every new album destroyed the foundation of the last one, right? And that's an amazing thing, because you see people now, like Taylor Swift, she pops out a Taylor Swift joint. The next Taylor Swift joint is exactly like the last Taylor Swift joint, the last 2-3 Taylors, because they don't want to take the risk and break the ship. You can't break the ship. The ship's got to sail, and so many people depending on the ship to sail. And that's a lot of pressure, because she's feeding a lot of people out here, right? Mm-hmm. Feeding them good too, right?
Yep.
So I understand the pressure and the stress about that. But my approach is I treat every season like the last season. Whenever I wrap a Man Fire Food season, I'm like, okay, that's the last season we're ever going to do in my head. So I treat shooting that season like a blind fool. I just go at it like hard. I just go at it hard. Like, how are we going to have the most fun today? How are we going to crack the most jokes today? We're going to try and build the most biggest fire, make the most delicious thing, and have the most fun possible, and go home. And then it's never going to ever happen again, because the network's never going to renew it again ever. Right? Yeah. And that's how I go at it, right? But they just keep calling and renewing, so something's working.
Hey, baby, keep doing it. And that's why, because you're doing it the way you're doing it, right? Like we're not taking advantage of a formula. We're not trying to just put out some, BS, big box store. All right, here's the same formula. Here's the show. You're doing you, and that's one of the big messages people need to understand is you do it on your own terms, and people can't help but work with you
Yeah,
because,
you're not going to please everybody, but you'll
yep,
find enough people, hopefully, who like what's genuine about
hmm,
you to be like, okay, I like that because that's genuine about that person. And there's
yeah,
enough people out there, there's how many billions of people 3 billion people in the world, 5 billion people, I don't know what it is, right? In the world, there's odds that there's at least 10,000 of them that are like you,
yep,
right? In
yep,
some way, right?
yep.
With some sensibility. So you just got to find who those people are, right?
Now, how do you block the negative?
I block the negative like I block the positive. I take the top 15% of positive and I throw it in the garbage. The most effusive positive thing I ever get, I ignore it. The bottom 15, the most effusive negative, but I just ignore it, right? And that middle is somewhere where the truth is. And the people who come at me with negativity, I respond to them. Generally, I respond to them. And my goal is to at least hear them out and try and understand where their position is coming from or clarify my position. And, 9 times out of 10, when you would take that approach, you understand that there's a common ground that people are trying to communicate that's probably not far from your common ground. You just have a different way of perceiving it. So if you approach it like that, you could tackle almost any situation and any person. And I'm like shooting 99% for turning people out, bro.
That's awesome. That's awesome that you're taking the time to hear both sides, understand what they're saying. Like, what are some of the negatives that you get? What do people get upset about?
What do people get upset about? Oh, I'm breathing over the food. Well, I'm picking a pig, bro. I can't breathe.
Come
I'm
on.
breathing over the food. Yeah. Another one is you shouldn't grow. So I had a concussion a couple years ago, right?
Damn. What
Uh,
happened?
It was a long story. I fell. It's bad, very bad situation. Really bad situation. I was locked in a bedroom for 8 months. I couldn't do anything. Blah, blah, blah. Anyways, so coming out of that, I was slowly trying to come back to work, and I had to wear sunglasses, and I couldn't put shears on my head to cut my hair. So my hair grew, and I grew this big afro, and I had to put glasses on. So that year, everybody's like coming at me. That was season 8. Everybody's coming at me. Ooh, who do you think you are? But you think you're too cool now. You Lenny Kravitz. So now he's realizes he's a black guy. Like all these people coming at me, bro. And I'm like, dude, I just had a concussion, and I'm lucky I'm alive and I'm not paralyzed. First of all, second of all, I'm out here trying to feed my family. And third of all, I got to wear these glasses to be able to do that. So you either accept that or you don't, and it's fine. What are you gonna do?
Damn. People really. I mean, they really come at everything. It's. I mean, I know. I get it from time to
Everything.
time, and people. We talk to so many people about that, but it's just, man. I mean, it's just free time. That's what I. It's people's lives are so good, Roger, that we can now critique. We have the time to critique Roger because you're watching Man Fire Food because you have the free time in your life to watch a TV show.
Yeah,
When
but
I,
you can turn it off. You can just go boop,
yeah,
turn it off.
it's unreal, man. It's unreal how much free time people have to be negative and like just turn positive, man. Just you know what, keep that to yourself. What are you gonna do? Change the world with that negative comment? Like,
Well,
come on.
they have that's their state of mind and that's
Hmm.
their thought process. That's their positioning, and they want to stand and defend that. That's cool. Like, I can't knock that because I'm gonna stand and defend that as well.
Sure.
But I also know I know who love me, bro. That's what it
Yeah.
is. I got 4 kids. I got a beautiful wife. Got my little doggy. My parent, like I got my clique. I got some very close friends. I count them on one hand, and it's all good. Like my life is spectacular.
That's that's awesome. That's what you want to hear. How's it been with 4 kids in the quarantine for you?
It's cool. We cook a lot, and some of them are more interested in cooking than others. My second one, she's super into cooking, so she helps with dinner and lunch a lot. The rest kind of come in and out of helping in the kitchen. So we cook a lot. I clean a lot. My wife cleans a lot. My garden is looking popping right now.
Oh,
Um,
bro, have you
play
hit the
basketball. Play basketball.
have you hit the power washing phase yet of the
No, not power
yeah.
washing.
I did
No.
I did the driveway, I did the entire perimeter with the fence.
Wow.
Man, it's looking brand new. And
It's
then
looking nice out there, right?
I'll come back in. My wife and my daughter have cooked up something. It's a nice cycle of eating and doing things around the house, playing a lot of hoops. My neighbor, uh, he put his hoop out in the middle of the street, like we
So
were
y'all are
kids,
balling.
Roger. We were balling. We were all sore yesterday. I texted him. I said, "How you feeling, man?" He's like, "Man, I'm struggling." And he works for the postal service, so he walks 13 miles
Oh,
a day.
with a bag, with bags and shit.
Bro, he is amazing, man. Like every day he comes home and he's ready to play with his daughter. He's like the best. And then yesterday he goes, "Man, I don't know. It's his week off." He goes, "I should not have started the week off by playing hoops against you and a 14-year-old girl." Like we pulled everybody from the neighborhood. We're like, "We need to get some hoops, man. We just need that for the soul."
Yeah, man, that's what's up. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
we've
It's
been
so
doing that,
cool.
man. Schoolwork, and that's it.
Yeah, it's it's crazy times right now, but it's these little moments. And my daughter's 5, so for her this is just, oh cool, I get to stay home. I miss
Yeah.
school. As your kids get older though, I hope they remember that, yeah, there was a lot of negative, there's a lot of tragedy around all this, but there were the positives of, I got to spend so much time with my dad, with my mom, and my siblings. And that's, sometimes we don't get that because of the everyday grind.
That's true. And don't forget, man, there's people on the flip out there who are out there like, yo, this time, like my dad died. Like my uncle died, my grandmother died. Like, so on the flip of that, there's also people who are experiencing that. So if you're fortunate enough to be out there hooping and power washing your yard, and I'm out there playing with my garden and all that kind of stuff, realize it's a blessing. And I think it's upon us to try and be as unselfish as possible, to try and do what we got to do to stay healthy, so that we're not putting other people at risk as well, right? So that's the part
Yep.
that we play. And I support a lot of different charities and a lot of different initiatives for fundraising and stuff. I've been jumping on all those. Everybody who asked me, I've been doing stuff with that. So what you
That's
can do,
good to
man?
hear.
We're all out here.
Yeah, we're all out here. Okay, so what's a better feeling for you? Writing a song, or finding the perfect chorus, cooking the best meal, you just, something clicks on that dish and you're like, this is it right here. Or laying down just a dope scene where the lines were perfect, the chemistry was great. What's a better feeling? Music, food, or TV perfection?
Uh, I don't really look at it like it's three different mediums, right? I look at it as I'm in the entertainment industry. So whether it's trying to make a perfect scene for a TV show, a cookbook, a really great restaurant, a great recipe, a great song, I get the same feeling from making all of those things, right? But I tell you, there's no greater feeling than standing up on a stage and hearing your voice come out of some big ass speakers and a crowd of people out there, bro. That's like, it's amazing. It's the magic. I wish everybody could experience that in life.
What's your favorite concert moment? Do you have one?
My favorite concert moment. We toured with James Brown for a bit, so um, that that was it. Like I actually remember saying to myself after that tour, I was like, "Yo, if I never do anything in music ever again after this, I'm good. I'm super good." It's
How
amazing.
how long did y'all tour with him?
We did a few dates with him in Ontario area.
Damn, did you guys get a chance to like pick his brain, and of course you got to
Yeah,
see
we
his
went
everyday
backstage with James in his dressing room. He was in curlers and getting ready for the show, bro, and his whole crew around, and watching him sound check every night with that band who've been playing with him for like 40, 50 years. He rehearses them like they're 13-year-olds. Like he runs them every night, 2 hour sound check, just
Damn.
vocals. Don't vocals, do it again. They're like, I've been playing with you for 40 years, dude. So
you can
it's pretty amazing to watch that.
you can tell the difference between the legends, the great ones, and their work ethic, right? Like I talked to Kendall Gill, former NBA player, and he was telling me about like the difference between what Michael did, what Kobe did. You know, you're already the 0.0001% of the best, right? And then within that, there's another 0.0001% of why those guys are the best. You could tell that in a musical sense as well, right? From guys like James Brown.
With James Brown, just what turned me out was his work ethic, man. Just the work ethic every night was just amazing to watch. And everybody on his team is so dedicated to putting on the best show every night. Like the guy who's on the side of the stage who hands the cape to the guy who hands the cape to James Brown, he's also the same guy who's standing on the monitor desk telling the monitor guy, okay, now the trumpet's coming, you got to turn up the trumpet. Okay, now I got to go back and get the flashlight because James is coming out. So one guy on the side stage, he's a security guard, he's holding the cape, he's lighting the way for when he's doing like 5 different jobs, and everybody on that team operates like that. And it just was amazing to see like this infrastructure that they've created over all these years. That's like an army, like it's like the James Brown army. And then he gets up on stage and sings like a bird, like every day. Like he was already 70 something, you know, like he's just killing people on stage every night. No set list. He just making up the set as he goes, vibing with how the crowd's feeling and changing the songs on the drop of a hi-hat. Like just, it's an amazing show, man.
Man, that is crazy. That is awesome to hear. Hey, did you get a chance to watch Hip Hop Evolution on Netflix? With
No, I haven't seen that. I've been meaning to watch that, man.
bro, you got to, man. And, I mean, there's a fellow Canadian who's a
Yeah,
host. Shad's
yeah.
awesome, man. I talked to him. He's just like he shares the same passion of music, right? He's an artist as well.
Yeah.
Man, you got to check it out. Like I can't wait to get
You
your
gotta check it
reaction.
out. Shad is cool,
Yeah,
man.
Shad's a good dude, man. Look, I appreciate you taking time out, man. It's love your work. It's so much fun to watch you go around and share your passion for food with others and bring that love, bring that commonality to the screen. And it shows, man, that you care, and it shows what your goal is with that show, man. Just keep it up. It's awesome to see.
Thank you very much, Raheel. I appreciate it, dog.
All right, man. I'll talk to you down the line. Roger Mooking, you can catch season 9 now of Man Fire Food. Season 9, bro. That's awesome, man. I'm so happy
Tonight,
tonight.
Wednesday,
It is,
Wednesday,
yeah, that's right. That is a debut. That's
Wednesday.
right. We'll
Yeah,
be
another
watching,
new
man.
episode.
We were watching all day yesterday. It was on,
Oh,
we
was
had this,
marathoning yesterday?
bro, it was awesome. I think it's every Tuesday night. It's Man Fire Food.
I
So,
don't even know anymore, bro. I don't keep track of it, but that's
hey, man,
great to hear. That's amazing.
it's better than watching the news all the time, man. Sometimes, you know what? You just need that happiness and food. So,
You know
keep
what
it up.
I find
Yeah.
amazing is that people like to watch it. They've seen it like one episode like 3-4 times, and they know like what the food is. They know what, but they still love it. Like, it's amazing.
Yo, the
It's
one
like Three's Company, bro. It's like you can watch Jack Tripper do the same thing every episode, but you
Yep.
still want to see it. I love it.
That's how it is, man. That's when you have positive people doing positive things, you want to watch it, and it's nice to see again. Like I've seen so many episodes multiple times, and you're right, but it's just fun. It's fun to see it again, and I wish by next year we can figure out some technology where I get a chance to eat what you're eating. I see it on TV and like, hey, just go ahead and just Amazon
Boom,
Prime.
pops up.
Yeah, do something. I need to get it, bro. Hey, man, best of luck, and we'll hopefully do this again, man. It was a pleasure chatting with you, and we'll do more music talk next time. I mean,
All
we'll
right,
just
man.
start dissecting albums if we need to, bro.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down with it, bro.
All right, man. That's Roger Mooking. Thank you so much, Roger. I'll talk to you later down the line, bro.
Thanks, man.
All right, there he is, Roger Mooking. Man, thank you everyone for listening and watching. He came on a little late, but we figured it out. He was on. Don't forget, guys, you can see if you're watching live, got the Spicy Boy t-shirt. Finally came in. You can get yours as well on Teespring, T-E-E, spring.com/Raheel Show. Spicy Boy shirts and Spicy Girl shirts are now shipping. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast if you are new to this, if somebody sent you this, if you came across this. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, on Anchor, and now on Spotify. We are getting it everywhere. Finally, it is up and running. Subscribe. We are trying to get 1,000 new subscribers by June 6th, and I think we can do it. I've been telling you guys, send the episode, send the link to the show to just 5 people. All right, it takes just 5 people. Tell them to subscribe and listen, and we will accomplish that goal. Thank you, everyone, for the support. It's been awesome to see the podcast grow. I've said this before. I love everything that you guys are providing with the support, whether it be the t-shirts, a follow on Instagram, Twitter, whatever it may be, sharing the show. I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. It's made this podcast so much fun to do. And I will talk to you guys Friday for a Wild Card Friday. Can't wait to reveal the guest for that one. It's going to be a good one. I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for listening.